So I've been waiting to make this video for a while because I've just been thinking about it. Is Tyler Glasnow really overrated, or at least overhyped? Because I know he's still young, but people are hyping him up like he's throwing no-hitters every game. Like, Tyler Glasnow is good, yes, but he's been getting a lot of hype, and especially from the playoffs, what I saw, it was not great. But, you know, from this, I'm gonna look at the stats and talk about, do I think Tyler Glasnow is overrated / overhyped? So before we get into talking about it even more, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, of course, for more MLB and MLB The Show content. Like the video and comment. Do you think Tyler Glasnow is overrated, overhyped, or do you think he's just fine? Do you think he's just young and he's about to go off next season? So yeah, we might as well just start talking about Tyler Glasnow. Tyler Glasnow. So his stats for the 2020 season weren't actually that bad. I mean, he went 5-1. I mean, it doesn't really matter. He had a 4 ERA, not the greatest. He had a 1.1 whip though, so that does make up for the ERA. It was due to home runs, but he struck out 91 guys, which is a decent amount. If you look at his stats, man, his FIP actually was a 3.66, which means he was just getting unlucky, and he did give up a lot of homers, but the FIP tells you he was probably getting unlucky. And in 2019, his FIP was actually a 2.26 in those 12 games. Yeah, it was only a 2.26. So it's telling me that Tyler Glasnow is not getting lucky. He's actually pitching well. But this year, from those stats, it's basically telling me that Tyler Glasnow, he's not getting lucky. He's actually pitching well. If you saw 2020, yeah, he just wasn't getting lucky. The FIP shows he was really pitching well. It's just the home runs and other stuff that hurt him, especially with the inflated ERA for only pitching 11 games. So the fact that he has a 3.66 FIP, he has a 1.1 whip, his strikeouts per 9 is a 14. It's pretty good. Now the problem with Tyler Glasnow is his 1.7 home runs per 9, his 3.5 walks per 9. Those are not great, and for him to be more successful and for people not to call him overhyped and overrated, he's gonna have to lower that. Especially if you saw from his 2019 season, he basically pitched the same amount of games. He had a 0.6 home runs per 9 and a 2.1 walks per 9, but he did have less of a strikeouts per 9. With increased strikeouts, he actually had better stats overall, especially in the ERA department and in the hits and home runs per 9 and walks per 9. So Tyler Glasnow, actually, if Tyler Glasnow more focuses on limiting home runs, he could be more successful, which you saw from the 2019 and 2020 comparison, because they were like the same thing. He gave up more homers this year, and last year he didn't give up much homers. So maybe it's because he gives up more home runs that his ERA inflates. And since he's a strikeout guy, if he doesn't get any strikeouts, he's giving up a lot of hits, like we saw in the playoffs. If he wasn't getting those strikeouts, if he wasn't getting those weak contact hits, Tyler Glasnow was not being successful. Like we saw in the playoffs, and most of the games he pitched, he was just not successful. He gave up either home runs or he was just getting into jams, especially in that World Series. I believe game 1 was not good for him. He, I believe, got into a little bit of a jam and was giving up runs because of that. So, for Tyler Glasnow to be more successful, he's going to have to limit the home run ball and focus less on the strikeouts and just try and not walk anybody, because that's another problem. He walks people and he gets people on base, which means more chances of them hitting a home run, or, more chances of the people just getting on base in general, which means equals more runs, clearly, if you know analytics. So Tyler Glasnow, he's a little bit I would say overhyped because his home runs and his walks. But if you're looking from the strikeout perspective and you're looking from last year, he's very, very good and he has a lot of potential. So yes, I think Tyler Glasnow is a little bit overhyped, but I do feel as if next year he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a good year. He just needs to work on limiting the home run and limiting the walks and focusing less on strikeouts. I understand he gets the strikeouts. He's still at 11.3 strikeouts per 9, but if he limits the home run and limits the walks and controls more, he will be more successful. You know, it's not like he's bad at all. I mean, his FIP was very, very good. So, his FIP was good. It was way better than his ERA, which means he just wasn't getting lucky. He wasn't getting the things that he needed. So, I think Tyler Glasnow, he's a little bit overhyped, but he wasn't getting lucky this year in 2020. So, I can't really fault him for that. But his postseason is where a lot of people have started to criticize him. Especially in the World Series, he was just giving up walks and runs like everything. In the World Series, Game 1, it was just bad. It was very bad. Kershaw outpitched him. I mean, that's enough said. Kershaw outpitched him. Like, it got worse ever. Like, since the start of the the playoffs, it just got worse and worse. Like, against the Blue Jays, Tyler Glasnow was not bad at all against the Blue Jays, but as soon as he played the Yankees, he wasn't that great, and then he went and pitched against the Astros. He wasn't the greatest either. I mean, he still did decent, but just wasn't the greatest. And then, of course, the World Series, it wasn't good from there. Like, if you actually look at his postseason stats, it just increased each playoff run. So Tyler Glasnow needs to work on himself, just work on limiting the walks and limiting the home runs, especially in postseason baseball. If you give up more walks and you give up base runners, they have more of a chance to score. The game slows down, so you're gonna have to pitch better and work better in situations, but also you gotta try and limit the walks and try and limit the home runs, because that's how you win a playoff baseball. The game gets slower, like I said. So yeah, Tyler Glasnow, he's a little bit overhyped, but I really like Tyler Glasnow. I hope he can stay hot. And, you know, Tyler Glasnow, he's going to have a bounce back year. His FIP is going to be good because he's a strikeout guy. And, I mean, his hits aren't, like, he limits hits. He limits hits. It's just the home runs and the walks, which are his problem. Which more walks, if you give up a home run, that's like maybe a 2-run or 3-run shot, you know? Yeah, Tyler Glasnow, his ERA is kind of inflated if you think about it, because the home runs, but also if he gives up a walk, then a home run, it is kind of inflated, but that's on him for giving up walks. So yes, Tyler Glasnow is a little bit overrated and overhyped, but Tyler Glasnow, mark my words, 2021, he's going to be a beast. Like, I'm adding to the overrated, overhyped type stuff, but I like Tyler Glasnow. So, you know, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Of course, you guys think Tyler Glasnow is overrated, or you think he's underrated? I mean, I don't know how you think he's underrated, but do you think he's overhyped, or you think he's ranked perfectly? You think he's good? He's that guy. So yeah, thank you for watching. Peace.